Hello, welcome to my platform. This is Creative Health International. You are welcome to my YouTube channel. If today is your first time, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. And please do not forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to hit on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So today I will be making the cap that you just saw, and I would be working with this dust shirt fabric, or should I call it satin. It's a stretchy satin fabric, and I just love the color I chose. And whenever you work with this material, it has a way of looking very, very unique. So that's what I'm working with today. All right, so I'm going to start by cutting out the base of this turban. I'm going to start by cutting out the base, and to create the base I would need to create a pleat because I needed to cross two pleats together. And so for that reason I would be cutting two separate fabric for the pleat, and the length I'm using is quite long because I actually want my pleat to be much. So I say you can work with like 18 by 20, 18 by 25, 18 by 30, depending on the pleat that you are looking at. And then after cutting out the part I would be using for the pleat, it will be time for me to cut out the part that I would be using for the cap itself. You need to like cover the base, that's the pleat, so that you get the cover of the turban. So I'm going to be cutting out that part, and for me to do that I would be needing height of, let's say, 13, and then the length of, let's say, 30. So you can do the minimum of 28, maximum of, let's say, 32. You don't really need 32 anyway, just a maximum of 30. So we are doing height 13 and then length 30 or 28. So we cut it out, and then we split it into two. I will explain why I'm splitting into two for you. This is because I want the base to be covered. The edges of the base, I don't want to like interlock. I don't want to interlock it, so I want it covered. So when I split the cover of the turban into two, it will help me to sew it at the top and bottom, which will help me to cover the base, that is the base that I'm joining together. Anyway, as you watch you will understand what I am doing. So right now I am sitting by my sewing machine because it will be time for me to sew. Okay, so for me to sew, I'm going to start by creating the pleat. Remember I said I would be using 17 by 25 or 30, as the case may be, but presently I'm using by 20. So 17 by 20, and then I'm going to create like up to 8 steps or 8 pleats, you know. And of course, if you watch carefully, you will see that for me to start the pleat, I started by folding the fabric twice. This will help me to make the beginning, which is the first part of the base, very neat. If you fold it once, the edges will be rough, so and uh you will not have the liberty, is it liberty or what's the right word, you will not be able to weave it again. So if you are going to fold once, then I will advise that you weave the fabric before you start to pleat. But if you know that you cannot weave, that's use your interlocking machine before you start to sew, then you need to like hem it before you start to do the pleat. So for the purpose of it being very neat. So this is how, so you can see how I started the fold and I took the second fold. So right now we are going to fold to the end. We are going to fold it to the end. So just Wash carefully. So now that I am done with the pleated part, you can see that I am done pleating the two parts that I will be using for the base. So it will be time for me to cover the back. So for me to cover, I want to add the soft chest wording to this fabric. You know, the satin or doshet fabric is very, very light. So it's light. You have some that are thick anyway, but this particular one I'm using is a little bit light. So I would need to add, I want to like add the breast, no, chest wording to it. Now, when I cut the chest wording to add to this fabric, I am going to check for the part of this chest wording that is stretchy, because there is the direction of the chest wording that is stretchy. So I have to like use that same side that is stretchy to rest on the stretchy part of the fabric, so that when I am putting it on my head or my client is putting it on a head, it will be able to fit in without struggle. So now to fix this part, I will need to start by, please, you need to take note of what I'm doing now. Start by resting the first fabric down, and then after that, you will place the pleated part on it, form or create the V on top of it. So when you place it that way, depend on how you want the side you want your V to face. You understand? So maybe to the left or to the right. That is a thing of choice. You can see that I actually changed mine because I'm looking at what direction I actually want the V to go to. So I changed mine. All right. So after placing it this way, I'm going to place the next material, not the chest wording. Now look at, when I place the chest wording, if you open it up after sewing, it is the chest wording that will show, not the fabric. So that's the reason you do not place the chest wording. You start by placing the first material, place the V part, that is your base, on it, and then you place the next material, that's the second part of the material, before placing the chest wording, so that the chest wording would not show at the front. If you make the mistake of not calculating it very well before you sew, you will end up sewing. By the time you turn it over, you will see that it's the chest wording that is showing, and you don't want that to happen. So you fix the first fabric, put the base on it, put the next fabric on it, and then you now put the chest wording on it. After doing that, it will be time for you to sew. So right now it's time for us to create the pattern. So that is the part that is going to be the top, that's the design itself. So for us to create the design, I actually want to combine two separate fabric, and you can see it. One of the fabric is reflective, and then the shirt itself. Just that the colors are complementary, as in they can go together. You understand? All right. So what I'm doing is that I cut out the both fabric of same width. The length might not really be the same, because the focus is that I want to use the reflective fabric for the design. So the focus is for me to use the reflective fabric for the design. So that's why the length is not going to be the same, but the width is going to be the same, because I'm going to be joining the width together. So when I join it together, after joining the both edges together, I will turn it over, and then I'll close a part of it. I'm not going to close every part. I'm just going to close from the middle, maybe just like 10 inches, 10 inches to the reflective, and 10 inches to the satin. I hope you get me. From the middle, 10 inches to the reflective, and 10 inches to the satin. And then after that, I would be fixing, either you can fix a foam to it, that is a foam. If you do not have a foam, then I will recommend that you use the thick chest wording for it, because my own, I'm using the thick chest wording, and for me it is not thick enough, so I gave it like up to 4 folds. That is, I folded it into 4 places. And then if you're interested in the width that I use, is 3 inches. That is the height I'm using, is 3 inches. So I folded it into four. That is, I have the fold of four places, so that I can get the thickness I'm looking for. But if you like, you can use a foam. So maybe half inch is okay. 1 inch might be too fat, but I know that half inch of the foam would be fine. All right. So I'm fixing inside my own. I am fixing chest wording. And then after fixing, you can also take a note that I wrapped the chest wording with the same fabric of the turban. This is to help me, what do I say now, just to help me to complement the turban. I don't want a situation whereby any part is showing and then the chest wording is showing by any means. You understand? So I need to like wrap it with same fabric with the turban. So now if you look at the end, you'll see that the fabric is joined at the middle, and that is the part that will be starting the back of the turban. So I'm taking it from the back to the front, and after that I will just simply create my ruffles, and that will just be all for today's tutorials. I do hope you understand what you have watched. If you do not, please drop your comment on the comment section. I will respond to you. I hope you like what you've seen. I'll be seeing you in my next video, and if you love today's video, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel before leaving today. For me, is bye.